So Neil Druckmann has admitted to striking down videos, striking down Twitter memes, and Reddit posts about The Last of Us Part 2. He has admitted to this, and now, of course, game journalists are coming out to defend him, not bringing up anything about abusing the copyright system. Of course they would. This is why you can't trust game journalists. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So Greg Miller, who used to work at IGN, he has a podcast. And on this podcast, Neil Druckmann admitted to the DMCA strikes. He admitted to making calls, to texting people, to get the leaks taken down, and also take down content creators' videos. Even though there were content creators out there that just stated their opinions, he abused the copyright system and was sure to get it all taken down because he didn't like that people were talking negatively because of the leaks. He went after people. Absolutely ridiculous. Went after them for their opinions. So stupid. And here's the thing. This is one of the most corrupt and disgusting things that I've ever seen a company do. They abuse copyright. This was awful. And now game journalists are coming out to protect Neil Druckmann. And here's this article here. The Last of Us Part 2 director Neil Druckmann responds to the earlier story leaks. And guess what? This article here defends Druckmann. Doesn't even bring up his statement. It actually goes over some of the things he stated, but it goes and deflects from the big statement that he makes. So take a look at this. Earlier this year, key story details leaked for The Last of Us Part 2. While the leakers were eventually identified by Sony, this led to the widespread sharing of important story moments weeks before the game released. Now The Last of Us Part 2 has been released, creative director Neil Druckmann has shared his thoughts from when the leaked material began circulating as a part of a wider interview on Kinda Funny. Thing about that is, Greg Miller himself on that podcast did not even try to ask Druckmann about, why did you abuse copyright? Didn't even bring that up himself. Instead, he just was okay with it. He was okay not bringing that up and was like, oh, hey, Druckmann, let's have another podcast in the future. That's what they do. They lick the boots of these companies and, they side with them. They don't side with the gamers like they state they do. No, these game journalists, all they ever do is they sit over there and they lick the corporate boots. That's exactly what goes on. And they shill for them. That's exactly what happens. The thing that was really hard was when the leaks happened and you see the scene came out, Druckmann explained, speaking on Joel's death via Abby. The love that people have for this character, and that's all they have is that, and then play as the person that killed them and then lose their shit. Understandably. Then we just have to sit there for 2 months being like, there's more to it, but we can't say anything right now. They just live with that frustration and anger. That was hard. That was really effing hard. You know what was really hard, Neil? The YouTubers that you put stress on because you were taking their content down, abusing copyright systems to try to silence them, terrifying them because they were afraid they were going to lose their channels. Because there were channels that had 2, not 1, 2 strikes against them. And they could have even had their channels lost. In fact, there were also Twitter posts, as well as Reddit posts, that were taken down. You struck fear into people. Used a fear tactic to try to silence people, Neil. That was really hard for people. What you were doing, just because people didn't agree with you. You freaked out because people were not happy about your game, because the leaks happened. And you decided to make things worse by throwing gasoline on that fire and going after creators, going after Twitter accounts, and going after Reddit posts. You made it worse. And that is one of the scummiest things I've ever seen any company do, Neil. And you made call-ins there for Musso to do this. It's absolutely disgusting. People not experience it as a part of the story was one thing, which Druckmann already described as one of the worst days of my life. Oh, yeah. Well, you made one of the worst days for many people's lives when you were going after their content because they were stating opinions. Opinions, okay? That were their own opinions. You don't own those opinions, Neil. You couldn't do that. That's not right. And you know it. You know what you did was wrong. But then the harassment began with death threats and anti-Semitic commentary being sent to the studio through social media. Druckmann states, I knew people would get upset at a character they love dying. I never thought it would reach this kind of hate. I don't know how to describe it, even frustration. You see, they tried to defend Neil here, which, Neil is not the victim, but they try to play it off as if he is the victim. No, he's the one who made things worse. He made things worse. It wasn't just about Joel dying. I mean, that was a big thing, yes, but there was more to it than just Joel. This terrible story you made, Abby's character, as well as what you did to Ellie, so many terrible things here. But also, just attacking people because they had different opinions. Throwing up memes as jokes, which you don't own memes either, Neil. But of course, that didn't stop him. Didn't stop him from going after people. At some point, it took a few days, you realized the worst happened, he continues. The worst way this game could be presented happened. Our worst fear, because we did so much to try to protect this story. Here's the thing about this article. Doesn't even bring up how Neil talked about how he sat there for, an hour, waiting for the DMCAs to go through, making phone calls to make sure it happened. Oh, they don't bring that part up. Oh, of course not. They try to play it off as if Neil's the victim. As if Neil was the good guy in all the situation and the fans are bad, when in reality that was not the case. Neil was the bad guy. He was the terrible person in this entire situation. He went after people, wrongfully so. He abused copyright, but they don't bring that up. That's because game journalists, they don't really support the gamers. They support the big companies, so they're going to side with the big companies on this one, to no surprise. And here's another article. It was one of the worst days of my life. Neil Druckmann opens up on The Last of Us Part 2 leaks. So this is what this article states. If you do go onto social media, you'll know because a Twitter account with a Joker avatar tweeted pictures of Joel bleeding out on the ground at you, along with some joke about golf. Well, it happens within the first few hours. Joel's death is the thing that kicks off Ellie's revenge mission, setting up the rest of the game. It's a big, impactful moment, one that would have been the best to experience for yourself. No, not really. People are experiencing it right now, and they do not like this game. They do not like this game at all. They can't stand it. It's also started what's now turned into months of toxicity in the debate around the game. Some people saw the leaks, decided they didn't like the story, and made up their mind. Even now, if we put out an article about the game, someone will inevitably post something about Joel's death. Oh, it'll be more than just Joel. It'll be about how terrible that game is. It'll be about all the terrible things of that game. It's not just going to be about Joel, That's not going to be the only thing. And, what makes this worse is it's not just that the game is bad, because the game is terrible. It's also the fact of everything that's happened with this game before it even came out. Everything that Sony, everything that Naughty Dog, everything that they did to try to silence people. That is something that has infuriated people to no end. People are really upset over this. You want to talk about ruining the reputation of a company, that's how you do it. And now that Neil Druckmann has come out and admitted that they intentionally sent their lapdogs and Musso out there to claim people's videos, to go after Twitter accounts, to go after Reddit posts. Oh yeah, this doesn't help your case. And while you probably didn't mean to admit to that, you did. You publicly admitted to it. It's out there for everyone to see. And, this is why people don't also trust game journalists, because they just sweep that under the rug. They just act like it never happened, and they try to make sure that Neil was never the bad guy. He's the victim in all of this. That's what they go on about. We all know he's not the victim. We all know that he's not innocent, and since he came out and admitted this, oh yeah, no, it just makes it worse for him. And, it's absolutely disgusting to see this. And, when he states, it's the worst days of my life, like being one of the worst days for him, yeah, just think about the weeks that people went through, the content creators went through, fearing, Musso coming after their content because you told them to go after it. But Neil clearly doesn't care about that because, it was all about silencing the bad talk. It was all about going after those people who had opinions that differed from his own. That was the entire point. That was the entire point of what Neil was doing here, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I saw it happen in real time. I saw when it hit YouTube, we were all panicking, asking them to take it down. Then there's a lag, so it takes like an hour to take it down. It had maybe 1,000 views when it all got taken down. Then you just sit there and your effing heart sinks, and you're like, it's out there. It's only a certain amount of time until it blows up. Oh, well, I can tell you right now. The thing is, the genie came out of the bottle. You can't just put the genie back in the bottle. And the worst part is that you thought going around and silencing people was the wise decision. In reality, it only made things worse, Neil. And here's the thing. When you look at it, nobody wants their game or their movie or whatever they're doing to get leaked. Nobody would want that naturally. And that would suck for anybody, right? But in this case, I don't feel bad for you, Neil, because of all the things you did. How could anyone feel bad for that? Your behavior was disgusting. And just because the game got leaked didn't give Neil or Sony or Naughty Dog the right to go and try to take down people's opinions. Gave them no right for that. And, they abused the copyright system to do so. And, it's horrible. It's horrible this happened. It never should have happened. It never should have happened at all. And it's just a horrible tactic. It's a very slimy move. It was a scare tactic to try to silence people. And that is something you just never do. People are entitled to their opinions, but apparently, Neil doesn't think so. Apparently, he doesn't believe in that. He just believes that, oh no, they don't like the game. Oh no, silence them. Get them out of here. That's exactly how it was. And this affected content creators so terribly. But Neil doesn't care. Sony doesn't care. Naughty Dog doesn't care. They all don't care. And, they were going so far as to ruin people's careers to try to just make sure that their game could, be safe. It's disgusting. You can't do stuff like that. And here's the thing. Game journalists are going to continue to come out. We're going to see more of this, where they're going to say that Neil was the victim. They're going to continue to say that Neil was the one that was innocent. We're going to see more of these. I guarantee you. I guarantee you we're going to see more articles coming out to defend Neil Druckmann. But this also goes to show you how slimy and disgusting Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog, and Sony are, as well as to why people don't trust game journalists and why they shouldn't trust game journalists. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.